advances to the Final Four.
Shout out Chillinois Basketball Podcast.
Shout out to Chillinois Podcast.
Shout out Chillinois Podcast.
Shout out Chillinois Basketball, man.
Welcome back to the Chillinois Basketball Podcast Final Four Preview Edition. Noah, I feel like we should take a moment of silence here because it's not very often that in our lifetimes, I mean, it's the first year of this podcast, mind you, so maybe we're bringing them some good luck, but how often do you think, I'm not sure the future plans of this podcast. I know we're continuing it next year at least, but how often, how many times do you think in the next 10 years are we going to recap a preview a Final Four matchup? I mean, I'd like to think that Brad has this team over a hump. You know, we're going to be a perennial powerhouse in college basketball, one of the blue bloods now. But I mean, let's be realistic here. This is the first time in 21 years, and the first year of this podcast, we get to record a Final Four preview. So, like, moment of silence. What should we do here for that?
Not a moment of silence, more like a moment
Moment
of,
of
of
triumph?
appreciation, I guess.
Yeah.
Just to, I mean, we may never be back here, knock on wood. I hope that never happens, but it's something you got to appreciate. I mean, we may never, it's very possible in our lifetime we never see DePaul make a Final Four. So we got to appreciate Illinois making a Final Four while we have it. And we have a good chance at making a championship game, which I think's only ever happened one time. So.
I mean, we had a pretty good chance in '89. I think a lot of people thought we'd beat Michigan to get to that championship game, but the Fab Five ended up going on and winning that championship. So, but yes, this is a great opportunity in terms of the teams that we've played so far. As far as the teams we could have asked for in the Final Four matchup, Duke would have been the tougher of the two teams that we could have faced, UConn being the lower in terms of Ken Pom. But, you know, Dan Hurley is quite the wizard, and um, we're no stranger to Dan Hurley. We've seen him this year as an Illinois basketball team, and we saw him in 2024 when the Illini got put on a 30-0 run and they beat us by 25 in an Elite Eight matchup with Terrence Shannon Jr., where we all thought we were going to the Final Four that season. So I don't think it'll be easy by any means, but there's a lot to like in this matchup. The Illini will face UConn on Saturday night, 5:09 p.m., just like their Elite Eight matchup. I will be back at the Budweiser Brickhouse Tavern. So I'll be running it back with the vibes. Um, but this will be an exciting matchup. Not only because
You're
this
you're
team is,
running it back at the Brick House?
I am running it
You
back at the
gotta
Brickhouse.
you gotta get
I
some interviews.
I will try my best. I exercise the demons. I said the last time I was at that Brick House Tavern when we were both there was the 2024 UConn game. So I'd like to think we exercised those demons, but I will be now watching a Final Four game against UConn in the exact same spot that I watched the 2024 matchup against UConn. So I'd like to think if we beat UConn this time, the demons are officially exercised and there's no more UConn demons, no more Dan Hurley demons to be worried about. But this will be a fun game no matter what, not only because these two teams have already played once this season, but because if you look at that first game this season that they matched up in, I think it was Madison Square Garden on November 28th, you could like pretty much throw that matchup out the window because these are two entirely different basketball teams. Now, UConn is a better basketball team than they were at that point in time because they got a lot of guys back from injury. I'm not saying they have grown a whole lot. I think the things they have done well all season, they continue to do well. But this Illini team, on the other hand, going into this Final Four matchup, is one of the most different teams from start of the year to end of the year that I think college basketball has ever seen. Because if you look at this team and you look at their defense before the NCAA tournament, and then you look at their defense going into the NCAA tournament, and then the games throughout the NCAA tournament, I believe in Bart Torvik, they're the number four defense in college basketball, or number three in the last four games, which is absurd considering they were 29th going in the NCAA tournament. On Ken Pom right now, I believe they sit at 20th, and they're still first in offense. So these teams are completely different, and not just because they've gotten better, because they've morphed throughout the season, but for a number of reasons. And I want to start out with both teams. I'll start out with UConn. I mean, if you look at that November 28th matchup in Madison Square Garden, UConn was coming off, or not coming off a loss, but they were getting back Terrace Reed and they were getting back Braylon Mullins. Two players that are starters in their roster now. Terrace Reed has been, if not the most dominant player in the NCAA tournament so far. I mean, he's been incredible for them. And he was coming off what a knee injury in that Illinois game. I think he only played, let me see here, I wrote it down. He played 15 minutes, scored 2 points and average or and had 5 rebounds, not averaged, had 5 rebounds. He clearly was not himself in that game. He looked hampered by his injury. But still, now you got a brand new, not brand new, but you've got a full season's worth of Terrace Reed figuring out how to play in this UConn offense. You got Braylon Mullins, who hit the shot of all shots against Duke. He played 10 minutes against Illinois in their first matchup. Now he's a starter and he's playing 25 minutes a game. Silas Damari played 20 minutes. He averages 28 minutes per game now. And Eric Ryby, their German 7-footer, he played 22 minutes against Illinois. I think he averages 14 right now. So this is a completely different UConn team than we've seen in the past, which scares me a little bit because Dan Hurley is a wizard. Um, Not many coaches could headbutt a referee up one with zero point 0.3 seconds left for a chance at the Final Four. And I'm not saying he did anything wrong. I think the ref was in his right to not call a technical. I don't think Dan Hurley did anything wrong there. But I mean, you have to be an absolute psychopath to even try that against a referee, especially the position your team is in after just hitting a last second shot. The crowd's going crazy. To stand down a referee like that and to have the balls even to do that is just absurd. So I am terrified of Dan Hurley in March, but on the other hand, if you look at this Illinois team that played UConn on November 28th, when they lost 74 to 61, Merkovich played 18 minutes, Wagler played 14 minutes and scored 3 points. Jake Davis played 9 minutes. Mihailo Petrovic played 18 minutes. I'm pretty sure if you asked a UConn fan who Mihailo Petrovic is, they'd probably ask you, who the fuck? Who is Mihailo Petrovic? Because we haven't seen him since that UConn game, really. And Brandon Lee played 11 minutes. And we had Tomislav coming off tonsillitis or his tonsils being removed. And we had Andre coming back from a knee and an ankle injury. So both teams were absolutely not the teams they are now. I think Illinois has grown a little bit more, but these are two very different teams in what they try and do offensively and what they try and do defensively. And I know everybody's talking about this Arizona Michigan matchup. It's the it should be the national championship. It is the quasi national championship. Whoever wins this game deserves the national championship. But this Illinois UConn game, if you're a basketball fan, these teams are so good at what they do, and they both do the exact opposite on offense and defense. And it's really going to see this game is going to come down to which team can impose its will on the other and do what they want to do better. And it's funny because they're similar in some ways, but they're so different in other ways. And I'll get your first thoughts on this one because I'm excited for it, but I'm also extremely nervous. And as it gets closer to Saturday, I'm already bouncing my knees in this chair right now, man. I'm on edge. I'm gonna be on edge all day tomorrow. Saturday, I'm not even sure like if I'll sleep Friday night. So thoughts initially on this game though, Noah.
Thoughts initially is I don't give a shit about UConn. Check out the merch. Illa fucking Noi. This is a
That's a
dope
cool
shirt.
shirt. Where'd you get that?
Chillinois basketball podcast. Guys, this is a high quality shirt. This is comfort colors. I mean, this is like seriously good quality. This is a large,
It
and I
makes
feel
you
like
look kind of big too.
I
I
know
must admit.
it fits me pretty well. So we have these on the website. I also got this in the mail. Beer glass. Again, do not dishwash these. Just hand wash them. They are very Chinese. And then, of course, the whiskey glass. We were working on making some shot glasses. We got some Final Four merch coming in. We got so
Oh
much
yes.
merch coming.
I'll be up late tonight, officially finishing the Final Four merch, but we
And
will have
remember,
Final Four merch out tomorrow.
all profits go to Coaches versus Cancer, so we're not keeping any of the money. Not that it's very much anyway, but
I
we're
actually
not keeping it.
recently
So
learned I recently learned that Brad Underwood's a chairman of the Coaches vs. Cancer
yeah,
initiative.
he like runs the whole thing pretty
Yeah,
much. I mean, it's
he's like a
his thing.
council chairman. So we're basically donating money to Brad Underwood's foundation.
Yeah, but about UConn, I mean, I'm scared like you. Dan Hurley's just so good. It's weird to me that we're favored. I kind of just wish we weren't favored. I really wish UConn was favored. Maybe it gives me a little bit of confidence that we're favored. Is like they're seeing something that I'm not seeing because I haven't been paying attention to this UConn team all year. All I know is they're really good every year. They did lose to St. John's pretty badly in the tournament. I think I don't remember the final score, but I think I remember St. John's pretty much owning them this year at least. So they have weaknesses, but everyone's healthy for them now, and the fact we lost by that much the first time we played and they weren't healthy, that scares me. Yes, Keaton's better. Yes, Merck is better. It's just going to come down to are we making our shots? I think we'll be able to out rebound them. I think we'll be able to out physical them. But if we make three-point attempts, we're not going to win the game. Plain and simple. I mean, their offense is too good and their defense is too good. Now their offense isn't that good. I think it's like 28th on Ken Palm or something. I mean, it's
27th, yeah.
right. It's not that good. I mean, a lot of people are saying like, oh, their offense is amazing. It's good, but it's not like amazing. Their defense is a lot better, I'm pretty sure. But this is a UConn team that it doesn't matter if they're ranked 50th on Ken Palm. They're going to bring it. Dan Hurley's always going to bring it. He seems to have Brad Underwood's number this year, or in recent memory at least. They only played, I think, twice. But it's like you, I'm scared. But I think we can win it. I really do think we can win it. It's just going to come down to can we make our shots and can we get them in foul trouble? Because if we can get Terrace Reed in foul trouble, if we can get some of these guys in foul trouble, get to the line, and more importantly, make the free throws, then I think we got a really good shot at winning. And it's going to be the easiest path if comparing it to the Arizona or Michigan or even Duke for that matter. So I guess at the end of the day, I'm kind of fortunate that we're playing UConn, but it's still very, very scary.
Yeah, I want to get back to the Ken Palm ratings because I think it does a good job of kind of showing other teams that Illinois have played that are similar to UConn in terms of analytics, at least. Now, a lot of that can get thrown out the window. This Dan Hurley coached UConn team is 17-1 in their last three NCAA tournaments. They've won two out of three of them. They're going for three out of four. Their only loss was to the eventual national champions last year, Florida. So a lot of those stats can get thrown out the window. But if you're looking at teams to compare in Ken Palm, at least, UConn's 27th in defense. Um, I'm sorry, they're 27th in offense. They're ninth in defense. Now, 27th in offense isn't necessarily terrifying. It doesn't jump off the page. Illinois have played teams that are much better on offense than UConn this year in terms of analytics, Alabama, Purdue, Michigan State. But the UConn offense is specifically so good because when they need a basket, they will draw up a set play to get one. And that's where Dan Hurley is such a wizard. And that's what they did against Duke. They were down 19 points and they just battled back set play after set play after set play. They just kept running them to perfection, back cut to perfection, back to cut to perfection, kick out to an open three, knockdown shot. So this UConn team is not going to go away. They have full belief in themselves that they can get to the Final Four. They've already done that. They have full belief in themselves. They can get to the national championship and win it again. No matter what the analytics say according to their offense not being a top 25 offense in the country. And I believe the last three national championship teams have had a top 12 offense in terms of KenPom. So they would be blowing that statistic out of the water. But like I said, this UConn team is so good at finding shots when they need it. And I don't think this will be the toughest matchup Illinois has had in terms of like defensive schematics, but this will essentially be the toughest matchup for Illini in terms of like their attention to detail on defense in this game is going to need to be so much higher than it was for any other game they've ever played before. Because yes, other teams they've played have had better offenses in terms of they score more points per possession. But this UConn team is so good at back cutting away from the ball, essentially all 30 seconds of the shot clock. They've got players off the ball moving this way and this way to the corner and then stopping for a second and running. It's a lot like Nebraska, where they're just kind of running all over the place and they never seem to stop until they find an open shooter. But UConn's better at it. So this Illini defense isn't going to need to play more physical or more tough, but they're going to need to be more mentally locked in than they've been the rest of this entire season, I think, because those back cuts, if you slip or if you sleep for 1 second on those back cuts, and I'm talking about Jake Davis, I'm talking about Ben Hummerkaus, I'm talking about Andrei Stojakovic, guys that aren't going to be predominantly on ball defenders. If those guys sleep for 1 second, Caravan's going to make you pay. Silas Damari is going to make you pay. Solo Ball is going to make a back cut and make you pay. Or they're going to dump it inside of Terrace Reed and he's just going to go one-on-one with one of the Avicic brothers. So this UConn team isn't necessarily statistically the best offense the Illini team has faced, but they're going to be so skilled and they're so good at what they do. So the Illini need to really lock in mentally on defense and be communicating the entire game. That'll be the most important thing on defense. And then offensively, or I'm sorry, defensively for UConn, They are the ninth best defensive team in Ken Palm. So that's pretty high up there. But defenses near UConn that the Illini have faced and beaten. Houston's fourth. Obviously, the Illini just picked apart their hard hedging, passed around every double team to the ball. Nebraska does a very similar thing. Nebraska's seventh in Ken Palm on defense. Michigan State's 13th, and I know Illinois lost to Michigan State at Michigan State, but it was a close game. And then Tennessee's 14th. So if you're looking at defenses, Illinois has played defenses that are similarly ranked to UConn, but once again, it's going to be a matter of size for Illinois' offense and whether they can utilize the size and the IQ that those tall players have and whether they can find the right passes. Because I don't think UConn's going to come to the ball like Houston did and double team and two to the ball every single time, but they do a lot of that. And I think if Illinois jumps on that early within the first 8 minutes of the game, it's going to really throw UConn's defense out of loop because they're going to be like, what can we do against these guys? And if they try and just one-on-one and go under screens, Illinois is going to pick you apart in a pick and roll offense because that's what they like to get to. So I could see this being a game that is easily dictated within the first 8 to 10 minutes of this basketball game. Now, Dan Hurley is obviously a wizard and he's going to make adjustments, but so is Brad Underwood. And I think just based on how these two teams play, we're going to see one team really establish dominance in the first 8 to 10 minutes of this game, and that's going to be how this game goes. And I'm really hoping it's on the Illini end, so we'll see. But I think there's a lot to like on the Illinois end here. I think this is a pretty favorable draw once again, but it's going to come down to coach versus coach. And if you believe in Brad Underwood at this point, I think we have a lot to like, and I believe in Brad Underwood at this point. But Dan Hurley, man, he's a wizard, like I keep saying. And if there was any coach I didn't want to face, it would be Dan Hurley. I didn't really want to face Duke, but I think I'm more scared of Duke's players than I am of their coach. And Dan Hurley is the exact opposite. I'm way more scared of UConn's coach than I am of UConn's players. And it's going to be a fun matchup regardless. But thoughts on how Illinois, I mean, predominantly what Brad said in his post, or not his post game, but his before they went to Indy, he said in his press conference, the biggest thing is going to be rebounding and not letting Terrace Reed score 27 points. And I think as straightforward as that was, that's extremely accurate as well. Do you see anything outside of that? Like if the Illini don't let Terrace Reed score 27 points and they out rebound UConn, do you see UConn winning this game?
Listen, I'm not worried about Terrace Reed. I'm not worried about Dan Hurley.
Hit me with the Illa fucking Noy again. Do it.
This is why
God.
I'm not worried about it. Because everyone in the stadium is going to show up in the new Chillinois podcast t-shirt. And we're also coming out with this design.
Oh my God.
Man, this jelly roll smoking some weed. The AI keeps putting marijuana with all of our images. And a lot of people, don't like AI, but we've been utilizing it really hard on this podcast. And UConn, I'm going to be honest with you guys, they are a team that's susceptible. They have weaknesses. It's not like Michigan or Arizona where they're just a powerhouse and they're unbeatable. They got weaknesses. And I could see Dan Hurley getting ejected from this game. He made a comment in an interview today or yesterday. He's like, I've never been ejected from a postseason game. And he's like, oh, I just jinxed myself. Now it's going to happen. I think it might happen. I think you might see Illinois go on a roll at the end of the game and get up like 10 points with like 2 minutes or something. And then Dan Hurley just get a technical and get ejected just to try to rile up his team, kind of knowing like, okay, we're probably going to lose. But if that can happen, I would love to see it. I mean, if Fran has a Fran Con, then we need
We got a
Hurley.
Dan Con.
Dan Con. I like that. Um, but yeah, I think if Illinois can keep steady, they really need to slow the game down. They just need to muck it up. And I think that if we can do that, then we will be able to come out on top. Because what it comes down to with this UConn team is, I mean, they can score the ball and they can score inside. And Illinois, lately, they've been doing better with their defense, but over the course of the season, not the best, inside defending team. So we got to be able to defend the ball, and I mean, I think we'll be able to rebound it. I'm not too worried about that. I like to think we'll be able to get to the line. That's something we've been able to do throughout the season. So if we do what we have been doing all year, we should win the game. But if we come out flat in terms of shooting and we can't hit anything and we're just weak and we're getting out physical and we're getting out rebound, then it's pretty simple. We're going to lose. I mean, this isn't going to be like an Iowa situation where we can shoot poorly and then win, driving on the hoop. This UConn team's not going to let us do that. We're not going to be able to score nearly as many paint points on them as we did Iowa. I think it's going to be kind of similar to the Houston game, but UConn's not going to miss shots like Houston. I mean, Houston was missing everything they were shooting. So we're going to need a really good offensive team or offensive game from Illinois to win this game. But I don't know if we're going to get to predictions, but I'm leaning both ways. I don't know how I'm going to pick. It could go either way.
I'll I'll give you a few minutes to decide what you want to predict because I won't give a prediction, but I saw a tweet earlier from Nick Bateman, CBB guru, and the last part of his tweet really kind of I'm gonna give a few arguments to why I think Illinois wins this game here. The last part of his tweet, I mean, he was talking a lot of numbers, blah, blah, blah. Teams coming off an emotional historic win tend to earn a disproportionate amount of public favor, often resulting in a letdown. UConn just came off of an emotional historic win versus Duke. And the last part of his tweet said Illinois' unlocked defense, their defense in the NCAA tournament, is essentially tailor-made to stop a team like UConn. Size to contain Reed. You've got two 7-footers. Allow streaky shooters to chuck. And if I'm looking at the shooting percentages for their guards, Caravan's 38%. He's their best three-point shooter. Then Silas Damari is 20, or sorry, Solo Ball is 29%. Braylon Mullins is 32% from three, which is actually surprising because he's supposed to be their sniper. Silas Damari is 40%, but not on super high volume. Everybody under that's under 40% on lower volume. So it's like they're not incredibly great shooting at three, but they will make it occasionally. So I don't think it's going to be like an Iowa first half where we see them shoot 50%. But let me go on here. He said, size to contain Reed, allow streaky shooters to chuck, rebound everything, which the Illini have done well in this tournament, dominate possession battle plus offensive glass, which the Illini have done well in this tournament, and then slow pace favors Illinois. So, I mean, if you're looking at it in just that sense, I think Nick Bateman did a great job of kind of summarizing how he thinks this game might go in favor of the Illini. I like that, but I'm also reading a lot of pro Illini biased tweets, so take that for what you will. Another tweet I saw earlier from Walker, Texas Ranger. Illinois versus UConn Final Four line moved to 1.5 and moved to 2.5. Makinen's metrics suggest Illinois should be a 3.5 favorite. Since 2015, bettors moving lines in Final Four games have gone 13 and 1 against the 13 and 1 straight up and 9 and 5 against the spread. So a historical edge to the Illini there. So what that essentially means is teams that are betting like the money is on UConn here. People think UConn's going to win this game, but in history, when an underdog has been the favored team in terms of the betting amount, uh, straight up the team that's actually favored is 13 and 1. So that bodes well for the Illini as well. And then I did see this earlier. Um, this is just funny history, but the team that eliminates Duke is cursed. Have you seen that? Yeah, let me read this. This was from Reddit Degenerate 96 on the r/college basketball Reddit webpage. So you know this guy knows everything about college basketball. But 2018, Kansas beats Duke in the Elite Eight, loses to Villanova in the Final Four. 2019, Michigan State beats Duke in the Elite Eight, and then they went on to lose to Texas Tech in the Final Four. 2020 was COVID. 2021, Duke didn't make the tournament. 2022, North Carolina beat Duke in the Final Four, and then they lost at the championship to Kansas. 2023, Tennessee beat Duke, and then Tennessee lost to Florida Atlantic in the Elite Eight, I believe that was. 2024, NC State beats Duke as an 11 seed and then lost to Purdue in the Final Four. 2025, Houston beat Duke and then lost to Florida in the title game. So typically, history shows the team that beats Duke is cursed in their next game. So we have that going for us as Illini fans. Before we get to predictions and MVPs, I'm not going to give a prediction like I never do for big games, but I will give an MVP prediction. Before we get to that, there's just a few funny side notes I wanted to talk about from the Illinois team. They're just so good at every pre-game conference, every pre-practice conference. Somebody's making a meme. Like it's just hilarious at this point. My favorite one out of the last press conferences that they did was Jake Davis is now a Balkan, and they're looking for a Croatian girlfriend for him. Tomislav said that himself. And actually, Jake Davis is officially one of Mishko's clients, which is hilarious to me. They got Jake Davis on the BEO bet.
Well,
Mishko does not have
he
money.
probably saw Mihailo Petrovic's NIL check. He's like, wait, can he be my agent too? I want a bag
I,
like that.
Carter said, I don't know who was with Carter on the Sleepers podcast. They were talking about Mishko saying he said Mishko said something like, "Why we need to see locker rooms? Why we need to see environment where team play? If the college basketball is good, we go." And I love that. And Carter was like, "I want Mishko to be my agent." And I don't know who was with him, but he said the same thing. But yeah, it's like Jake Davis is hopping on the Mishko Raznatovich train, and I'm sure he's securing a bag. But that also leads me to believe like he's probably coming back to Illinois next year, right?
Well, I think he was gonna probably come back either way. But yeah, I mean, hopefully Misko can keep everybody back at Illinois. I mean, I'd like to see him run it back. I understand people don't want T and Z. I seriously think that narrative should be killed at this point in the season, especially if we win this game and Tommy and Z happen to have good games. I mean, Tommy's problem was that he just wasn't making shots. It's not, I think it was a mental thing for him. And I think he's gotten better in the last month in terms of paint scoring. And Z is Z. The only reason that Z and Tommy would leave is if Z wants a starting spot and T wants to start starting spot. But I honestly think they're perfectly fine with the situation they have right now, just doing the same exact thing, splitting the minutes pretty much evenly and playing Merck at the four. If they can bring everybody back and then they'll have to replace, the couple of, Kylan and Ben, but geez, I mean, you could be talking about another championship level team next year. I mean, I understand Keaton's really, really good, but if you can find some veteran, senior, point guard to replace Keaton, I mean, we're already looking at it next year, but it's exciting time of year, and you just wonder if we
Well,
can win this game. I mean, at that point, I mean, we've been playing with house money, but we're really playing with house money at that point, and all the pressure's on the other team. I mean, all the pressure. I think all the pressure is on UConn right now. Hurley's putting the pressure on himself, and I think he likes the pressure. The question is, this UConn team's not the same as the UConn team that we played in the last Elite Eight. Yes, they did beat us early in the season, but I think we've gotten a lot better since then, especially this last 2 to 3 weeks we've been playing lights out. So I'm really, really excited, and it's going to be one of those 5 o'clock games again. So you'll be able to sit up and see who Illinois could potentially play, but I'm
if they
not
win.
if they win. I don't want to look ahead already, but it's going to
Uh,
be probably the biggest game in Illinois history in the last 20 years. I mean, obviously
well,
not as big as the championship game that they made in 2005, but still.
what's so interesting to me is that we're getting these, well, I mean, we're having this conversation about whether or not the Visich brothers come back next year. Jake Davis signing with Mishko, so he'll probably be back next year. These are conversations we usually have on April 2nd, and the team is like 2 weeks done playing basketball because we're not usually in the Final Four. I think we lost like March 13th last year, early on, second round of the NCAA tournament. I'm fairly certain, if I'm trying to find a tweet here, but I'm 99% certain that David Mirkovich committed to Illinois in the month of April last year. So the fact that we're playing basketball games in April, and I had this thought the other day at the Cubs game too. The fact that I'm going to a Cubs bat or a Cubs baseball game and Illinois is playing the day before in a basketball game, how many times can you say that? Where Cubs are actually playing actual MLB, not spring training games, and Illinois is still playing basketball. Uh, very rare that we're talking about actual games in April and not talking about the transfer portal or, I mean, I thought at this point in the Chillinois basketball podcast, we'd be talking about where Andre's going, where David Mirkovich is going, and that'll be probably something we talk about in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But I mean, it's funny to me that it's like this is the point we're at. We're this good. We're still talking about basketball in April, and it's the Final Four. So, uh, Jake Davis represented now by Mishko Raznatovich, which is great. What are we calling him now? Jakovic Davovich or Jakovic Davisic?
Davisic for sure. Jake, yeah, Jake
Jakovic
is,
Jakob Davisic
yeah, yeah, maybe.
or just Jock maybe? Jock?
That's a little bit French almost.
Yeah, that's true.
I like Jacob Davisic.
Jakob Davisic.
Yeah.
Jakub Kuba? Like
No, not yet, Coop.
he's not Polish. But anyways, yeah, Jake Davis is now Balkan, so I hope that helps his 3-point shooting. Um, I don't know if you saw this, but another little side Twitter note that I wanted to point out, 20 or sorry, 48% of the tickets by state were sold to people in the state of Illinois for the Final Four. So it seems like it's going to be quite the pro Illinois crowd. Uh, I have to bring Josh his Bratislav Underwoodovich outfit after this podcast is over. He's like, I really need that for the Indy Final Four. And I was like, you know what? You let me wear it for the Northwestern game, so I will drive it over late at night. He's going tomorrow to Indy, and so will Sahil. He'll be there too. Um, and then last point on the memes, at least before we get to predictions. Well, actually, there were two of them. One of them I wanted to point out because it was just a quick Mihailo Petrovic blurb, but he was talking about how he's happy with his current situation, which was a little bit surprising to hear him say. But he also said like this is gonna bring like a new wave. Like people in Serbia want to play for Illinois basketball now. It's like the cool thing to do. And to hear a guy like Mihailo, who's been sitting on the damn bench all game or all season since his 18-minute performance against UConn, I don't think he's played more minutes since that game. It's surprising to see a guy say that. And I was like, is Mihailo happy? Is he coming back next year? And if Mihailo doesn't come back, it's going to be one of his cousins or something that shows up in Champaign next year. So it's like, this is cool
I
to
don't
see.
see how we can take him when we're gonna have DGL back, baby.
Oh, Dragic Lawhorn?
Yeah, he's in the transfer portal.
Yeah, I saw that, but I don't think he's coming back. But no, I
I
mean,
don't I don't want Mihailo Petrovic back, to be honest. He didn't do anything. I mean, he literally played two
whoa,
minutes a game.
we want our boy Petro Boomin back.
He
Come on.
sucked. He didn't
That's
do
our daughter's
anything.
future girlfriend or boyfriend. Come on.
Dude, he literally I was expecting a lot more from him this season. He was underwhelming. Maybe Brad just didn't give him an opportunity, but he just seems way too small, like, to
I
play in the Big Ten.
still I still have a belief in my heart that somehow Mihailo Petrovic is going to have a big moment in March. Like I don't know why, but I have a feeling, and it really would mean that like some catastrophic thing would have to happen for Mihailo Petrovic to even be
A
playing.
meteor would have to strike the stadium.
I mean, I'm gonna knock on wood before I even say this, but Keaton and Kylan would have to go down with injuries, and we'd have to be like, all right, Mahilo, next man up, run the offense. So it would be terrifying if he was. But I feel like he has a March moment, like he's made for March, but we'll see.
That stadium is huge, by the way. I mean, have you seen the view from inside there?
Mahilo probably looks like a freaking like a I
He
don't
looks
even
like a
know
little
a
Lego
dust mite.
person,
Yeah, like a I was gonna say like a lice. What
an
is the
ant.
singular of lice?
It's just I think a lice. I think it may be a
A
loose.
single lice? He's like an ant on the floor
Yeah,
in the
he's like
center
a
section.
he is a little like goblin out there, kind of.
Yeah, he's Petro Boomin. Next last meme point I wanted to even bring up. Did you see they crashed their like little golf cart into the wall?
Yes, they told the lady like don't crash, and then she immediately crashes right into the wall.
Yeah, but you know what I like about that is the last team that crashed into a wall was Ohio State football before they won the college football playoff 2 years ago.
It could be like an injury, you know. Oh, we survived. Let's win it all. We survived a
Yeah,
catastrophic incident, kind of thing.
it's like the bus just rolled off the cliff and we all somehow made it, boys. And then
Yeah.
it was even funnier because like Keaton wasn't surprised, but David's in the back and he freaked the hell out. Like they just, I mean, they were going like a mile an hour and it was a golf court and she was like trying to make a 3-point turn and she rammed into the wall. But David freaked out like it was in a NASCAR wreck or something. So it was great. But yeah, the last team that crashed a golf cart was Ohio State and then they ended up winning the national championship in football 2 years ago. So can't be too mad about that. Predictions, MVP. I'll start it off with MVP. It's got to be the Ivisic brothers in this game. Uh, Terrace Reed has been so dominant. I think it's going to be a collection of both of them. But I think if the Ivisic brothers can give Terrace Reed fits, I know in the first game he looked like he was injured, but he only scored 2 points and had 5 rebounds. He didn't look like himself. I think part of that was because he's never seen two 7-footers in the paint before. I think a lot of that was because he was injured as well. So we're gonna have to have our 7-footers step up and make him more uncomfortable as if he wasn't injured at all. But if this game is gonna go Illinois' way, it's gonna be shutting Terrace Reed down, not letting him be the best player on the court, not letting him get 15 rebounds and 20 points, and that's going to come down to Tomislav and Zvonimir really playing defense strongly inside on him. Uh, I know everybody's like, Zvonimir should have more blocks. Zvonimir should have more blocks. This is going to be a game where he probably might have one block if he has one at all. But it's just going to be whether or not he can contest uh, Terrace Reed at the rim, make him uncomfortable. And honestly, like I think a big part of this game too could be Terrace Reed getting into foul trouble. If we go on the inside and we get the ball to Tomislav and Zvonimir and let them cook from inside the two or inside the 3-point arc like they have been all tournament, they're 86% from inside the 3-point arc. If we let them do that, Terrace Reed might have trouble playing defense without fouling. So that's an aspect I'm really looking forward to in this game. It's an aspect I think Illinois needs to dominate if they're going to win. So give me the Vicic brothers for MVP. I like the Illini's chances in this one, but I'm not going to call a final score prediction just because I don't want to jinx anything. But I am optimistic about this game. Um, I was optimistic about the 2024 run. I thought UConn's really good, but we got Terrence Shannon Jr. So I've been wrong before about UConn, trust me, but this just feels a little different this time. So give me the Vicic brothers and give me the Illinois Fighting Illini in a win to make it to the national championship game. But don't quote me on a score here because it could go either way. So Noah, though, MVP performance from you and score prediction, because you always give one.
Yes, MVP, everybody's talking about the Karaban Merkovich matchup, so I'm going to go with Merkovich. I think if he can win that matchup, then you're talking about probably winning the game. I think that alone, if you can shut down Karaban defensively and if you can score over the top of him, I think that we're going to be in a very good position to win. And I do agree with you. The Ivisic brothers need to have big games. Tommy, especially, if he can score in the paint again, I think that's going to be key. 3-point shooting is obviously huge. Z needs to hit some shots. I mean, quite frankly, he's been just shooting like terribly lately. And Tommy's been doing a lot better. He's still not shooting the three ball great, but at least he's been able to get inside a little bit. If Z can just do alley-oop dunks 10 times a game, that'd be great as well, too, because he's pretty good at that. Seems to be the one consistent shot he's able to make. But yeah, I think the big men, Merkovich is going to be key. This could be another big Andre game, too. I mean, I don't think it will. I think it's more going to be a Keaton game. But man, Andre's just playing lights out this tournament, so it would not surprise me in the slightest. But you're honestly going to need an A performance from pretty much everybody. I think it's going to be harder than the Houston game. I liked the Houston matchup. I called it. I mean, I picked Illinois to beat Houston. I was texting everybody like, I think Illinois can beat them. They're a defensive team. We just score the ball too much. But this UConn team, they're scary. They make me nervous. Dan Hurley, Caravan, they got the experience. They got the offense. Give me Illinois by 20. God damn it. I don't care anymore. I'm behind this team 100%. I'm on the train. I believe. I think we can do it. Okay. I think Dan Hurley, he's gonna have a dream Friday night. He's gonna oh, he's gonna have a nightmare. Not a dream, a nightmare. That Brad Underwood, he's gonna take Hurley, put him in the trunk. He's gonna drive him somewhere. Dan Hurley's gonna be like, "Where am I going?" It's gonna be like the scene in Goodfellas. He's like, "Oh, where am I?" He looks out, he opens the trunk. Where is he? The goddamn Pizza Hut parking lot. And Brad just starts beating the shit out of him. That's what's gonna happen. He's gonna take him to the Pizza Hut parking lot. Merkovich is gonna take Caravan, and they're all just gonna they're gonna start swinging. Illinois, not by 20. I think that's a little bit too much, but I will say Illinois by double digits. I think it's gonna be like I said. We're gonna go on a run at the end of the game. Hurley's gonna lose his shit. He's gonna punch a ref in the face and then get ejected, and we're gonna win by 15 or something like that. I really do believe in Illinois. I don't think the run's gonna end now. Everybody's like, "Oh, UConn, they're gonna win it." they have so much momentum from that Duke game. It's like they got really, really, really lucky. I mean, that doesn't happen more than once. I mean, look at Iowa. You know, they had that great performance against Florida, and then they kind of ran out of gas. So I don't think one overtime or one buzzer beater shot is gonna give them enough energy, especially a week off, man. We have the whole week to prepare for this team. It's tough to prepare for Illinois. We just got so many different ways we can score. It's a very hard team to watch film on. Now they've played us, so they have more than just film. They have experience, but I really do believe in Illinois, and I can't pick against them. I mean, I picked them every single game, every episode. You think I'm going to pick against them in the Final Four? Hell no. Final score for Illinois. First, I'm going to say David Mirkovich triple double. I'm calling it now. I mean, this is going to be a game that potentially. I mean, we might not see Mirkovich back next year because he might just go in the first round. I mean, he might go top 15. He has a triple double against UConn in the Final Four. I mean, anything's possible. Final score prediction. I'm gonna go Illinois 83, UConn 71. We'll say 12-point game.
I
And I
mean, I
and
like
I
it.
also think that Brad Underwood is gonna outcoach Dan Hurley, and that's truthfully gonna be the turning point in Brad's career. It's gonna be the point where people start to give him respect. They start to put respect on his name. He's gonna outcoach Dan Hurley. They're gonna win. Merck is just gonna lose his mind. I mean, if they win, dude, I don't even want to know the celebration that's gonna happen. It's gonna be electric. Super Soakers. Still waiting for Brad to get a mega Super Soaker. He said he was. So far, it's just regular size Super Soaker. But man, if they win that, but they can't party too hard because they're gonna have a game on Monday, a real, real tough game. But people have been talking about it. This Michigan Arizona game is going to be tough. They're going to beat each other up. So you could see a bruised and battered team coming into the finals. I'd rather play Arizona just because we've already played Michigan. They beat our ass, so I don't want to play them again. But either way, it's house money. But again, if Michigan can kind of beat the hell out of Arizona and we get a wounded Arizona team, you're talking, then you start to talk about some crazy shit, national championship. And I don't want to take all the credit, but Babasic Ivicic has gotten us this far. It's not a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. Get the merch before we blow up to 1 million subscribers. We are the ones causing the run, not Keaton. Okay. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if Keaton will get drafted top five and he'll go to the NBA and he may never pan out because, quite frankly, he doesn't have the power of Bobovich behind him. This is special what we have on right now. So all I can do is knock on wood and watch the game on Saturday night.
It's gonna be exciting nonetheless. Like I said, I'll be at Budweiser Brickhouse Tavern again, hopefully exercising the UConn demons this time. Even though I thought I did that last time because I was in the same spot I was when I watched the UConn game in 2024. But nonetheless, I'm excited. I'm nervous. Noah's predicting an 83 to 71 victory. I'm hoping it goes that way, but we will find out Saturday night at 5:09 p.m. I believe this game's on TBS. I think it's Bill Raftery and Ian Eagle calling this one. So I'm excited about that as well because I love the Raf. I got to hear onions at least once every tournament. Got to hear
Onions.
English.
Onions.
Put a little English on it. Or a scoop.
He's
Love
like
Bill.
90. He's getting up there in age.
Dude, I hope Bill Raftery commentates until he's 105. I love that man, but I think he is calling the Illinois game Saturday. If not, it's going to be Kevin Harlan again. So either way, a great announcing team. I'm just excited, man. It's been 21 years since we've been in a Final Four. We've made it this far. Why not keep it going at this point? We've got a UConn team we've seen before. We've got an Illinois fan base that's pumped up like we've never seen before. So all I can say, Noah, is ILL.
I and I, baby.